Think you know the Wild West? Think again. These 25 facts are pure Hollywood fiction. The Wild West wasn't all quick-draw gunslingers, dusty standoffs, and Stetson-wearing cowboys. Let's uncover 25 of the dumbest myths about the West that movies made up, but everyone believes. 1. Every cowboy wore a Stetson hat. And here's the first shocker. Not every cowboy had a Stetson perched on his head. Early cowboys went for practicality. Bowlers, flat caps, sombreros, and even old military hats. The Stetson became famous later, thanks to Buffalo Bill in movies. That classic wide-brimmed hero look, pure Hollywood magic. 2. Cowboys were all clean-shaven heroes. You've probably pictured a fresh-faced cowboy riding into town, right? Reality check. Shaving on the trail was a luxury. Most cowboys rocked beards, mustaches, and a lot of dust on their faces. That smooth, camera-ready look came straight from 1940s to 50s. Hollywood, not dusty cattle drives. 3. All cowboys were white Americans. Here's one that really flips the story. Up to 25% of cowboys were black, 1/3 Hispanic, and many were Native American or Chinese. The movies loved to whitewash everything, so audiences got a very skewed version of history. Diversity wasn't the problem. It was Hollywood ignoring it. 4. Cowboys were hulking, tall figures. Forget John Wayne-sized legends. Real cowboys were around 5 feet 5 inches and 120 to 150 pounds. Small, nimble bodies made long hours in the saddle way easier. Hollywood loved big, imposing figures, so we got giant heroes instead of the smaller, scrappy reality. Imagine that next time you see a cowboy strut on screen. 5. Every cowboy carried a gun. And here's where the gunslinger myth hits hardest. Most cowboys didn't need pistols for work. Rifles or shotguns were more practical. Pistols were expensive and awkward. That image of a cowboy strapping 6 shooters to his hips everywhere? Totally for drama. Ropes and tools were more likely. 6. The cowboy's job was glamorous and adventurous. And this one will probably surprise you. Being a cowboy wasn't some non-stop adventure full of outlaws and dramatic rescues. Most days were brutal. Long hours, low pay, dust and danger from stampedes or bad weather. That Hollywood thrill? Pure fiction. Hard labor, monotony, and sweat were the real deal. 7. Cowboys always owned their loyal steeds. Here's a twist you don't see in movies. Cowboys rarely owned their horses. Most rides were on ranch property, on tough little ponies built to endure hours on the trail. The man and his majestic horse bond? Romantic storytelling at its finest. It made for great visuals, but wasn't everyday reality. 8. Cowboys constantly fought Native Americans. Now this myth gets messy. The idea that cowboys were always clashing with Native Americans is mostly false. Confrontations were rare, and large-scale violence was mostly military-driven. Cowboys spent their time herding cattle, not chasing battles. Cowboys versus Indians just made for an easy, dramatic story. 9. Western towns were utterly lawless. You've seen the chaos on screen, right? In truth, most Western towns had laws, sheriffs, and community order. Sure, boom towns could get rowdy, but constant gunfights were rare. Hollywood loves chaos. It makes tension easy. But real frontier towns were trying to stay safe, organized, and productive. 10. High noon duels were common showdowns. And this is a big one. Those dramatic face-offs at high noon? Nearly non-existent. Prearranged duels were extremely rare, and most real gunfights were chaotic, up close, and messy. The gunslinger image in cinematic duels are inventions to keep audiences on the edge of their seats. 11. The gunfight at the OK Corral happened in the Corral. The famous gunfight at the OK Corral never happened in the Corral. It occurred in a vacant lot beside it, lasted just 30 seconds, and Hollywood exaggerated it into a legendary, action-packed showdown for dramatic effect. 12. 6 shooters were super accurate and powerful. Long-range revolver shots in westerns are pure myth. Early six-shooters fired slow, inaccurate black powder rounds effective only within 50 feet. Real marksmen used rifles or shotguns. Those flashy trick shots? Pure Hollywood fantasy. Accuracy always mattered more than speed. 13. Saloon brawls were epic. Furniture smashing, free-for-alls. Movie saloon fights with flying chairs and smashed tables are pure exaggeration. Real brawls were short and quickly stopped by owners protecting property. Guns were rare. Real saloons were rowdy but not non-stop chaos. 14. Sheriffs were often corrupt or cowardly. Despite Hollywood's image, most sheriffs weren't villains or cowards. While corruption existed, many were hard-working peacekeepers. The myth endures because films needed weak lawmen to make the lone cowboy hero stand out dramatically. 15. Vigilante justice was always pure and justified. Vigilante groups often acted where law enforcement was lacking, but motives weren't always pure. Some committed lynchings or abused power. Hollywood romanticized them, yet real vigilantes were unpredictable and sometimes dangerously unjust. 16. Gold was just lying around during the gold rush. The gold rush wasn't instant wealth for everyone. Most easy gold was gone early, leaving miners with backbreaking labor and disappointment. Real fortunes came from merchants or big operations, not lone prospectors striking it rich. 17. Horses were the only way to get around. The lone rider on horseback is iconic, but not the whole truth. Railroads and stagecoaches were central to travel and commerce in the 19th century West. Horses were essential in remote areas or for ranch work, sure, but they weren't the only way to move people or goods. Film loves to romanticize freedom on horseback. It makes for better visuals, but the West was connected in practical ways. 18. Tumbleweeds are a native symbol of the dusty Old West. Tumbleweeds weren't native to the American West. The Russian thistle, introduced in the 1870s, spread quickly and became iconic in movies. Early settlers never saw those cinematic rolling tumbleweed scenes. Hollywood made them a modern Western symbol. 19. The Wild West was exclusively male-dominated. Despite movie portrayals, the West wasn't just for men. Women farmed, ran businesses, delivered mail, and even fought. Figures like Annie Oakley and Stagecoach Mary proved the frontier offered women greater independence, often ignored by Hollywood storytelling. 20. Train robberies happened all the time. Contrary to films, train robberies were rare. Between 1866 and 1910, fewer than 1,000 occurred nationwide, about 20 a year. Movies exaggerated the danger for drama, turning uncommon events into one of the Wild West's most famous myths. 21. White hat, heroes and black hat. Villains was an age-old code. Here's one that really sticks in your head, thanks to classic Westerns. The idea that a hero always wore a white hat and a villain wore black is pure cinematic shorthand. This visual trick became popular in American films between the 1920s and 40s, especially in black and white movies where quick recognition was crucial. Real cowboys didn't pick their hats to signal morality. They chose them for practicality, fashion, or just what was available. The white versus black hat trope, a storytelling convenience that stuck so well it became part of pop culture. 22. Native Americans were all bloodthirsty savages. Hollywood and early novels falsely portrayed Native Americans as ruthless aggressors. In truth, they were diverse nations with unique cultures. Violence was usually defensive, protecting land and people. This harmful myth justified colonization and simplified complex human realities. 23. The lone cowboy hero was the norm. The lone cowboy myth is pure fiction. Real cowboys and settlers relied on teamwork for survival. Cattle drives, wagon trains, and towns all depended on cooperation. The lone hero image was a storytelling shortcut, not historical reality. 24. Outlaws like Jesse James were Robin Hood figures. Despite Hollywood's romantic tales, Jesse James wasn't a noble outlaw. He and his gang robbed banks and trains for personal gain. Sympathetic newspapers fueled his Robin Hood myth, turning brutal crimes into heroic legend. 25. The Wild West era lasted for many decades. And the idea that the Wild West spanned decades of endless lawlessness? Not true. Historians generally mark the key Wild West period from the end of the Civil War in 1865 to about 1890, roughly 30 years. By the 20th century, railroads, schools, formal law enforcement, and settlements had transformed the frontier. Hollywood took this brief, dramatic era and stretched it into decades of myth, giving the illusion of a longer, untamed, and endlessly violent West. 26. Cowboys lived in teepees. Movies sometimes show cowboys hanging out in teepees like Native Americans. In reality, cowboys lived in bunkhouses, tents, or small cabins provided by ranches. Teepees were specific to Plains tribes, and using them for cowboys is just a visual shortcut to Western lifestyle. 27. Everyone rode across the desert for days. The classic image, cowboys riding non-stop across endless desert landscapes. Most cattle drives followed rivers, grazing land, and trails, not barren deserts. Long, continuous rides like movies would have been deadly for men and livestock alike. 28. Every outlaw had a notorious nickname. Hollywood loves colorful nicknames, Billy the Kid and Wild Bill Hickok. The truth? Most criminals were just regular folks with ordinary names. Only a few earned legendary monikers, and many nicknames were exaggerations from newspapers or dime novels to sell stories. 29. Stagecoaches were always robbed by bandits. Films depict masked bandits ambushing stagecoaches constantly. While stagecoach robberies did occur, they were rare and risky. Most stagecoach travel was uneventful. Security, armed guards, and careful planning kept passengers relatively safe. 30. Cowboys rode into town to show off skills every weekend. The cowboy parade into town for a showdown or rodeo image is exaggerated. Cowboys' lives were focused on work, herding, branding, and maintaining ranches. The weekend gunfights, duels, or skill displays are purely Hollywood flair, not reality. And there you have it, 30 Wild West facts busted wide open. Cowboys, outlaws, towns, and legends weren't quite what Hollywood made them out to be. So what blew your mind the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more history deep dives.